Bat. At some point in the 1980s and 1990s, an adult looked at a child and thought, you know what kids would love? Candy shaped like cigarettes, tubes of edible slime, wax bottles filled with unidentified liquid, foam peanuts in a color that doesn't exist in nature, and every kid in America said yes, immediately. Without hesitation, we loved all of it. And most of us had no idea that some of these candies were getting banned by governments, investigated by Congress, and sued out of existence. This is the real story of the grossest, weirdest, most controversial candies of our childhood, candy cigarettes. The candy governments tried to ban. Let's start with the most controversial one, candy cigarettes. The idea sounds insane now. A candy shaped exactly like a cigarette, same box packaging, nearly identical to real cigarette brands. But when they launched in the 1930s, nobody blinked. Smoking was glamorous. Doctors appeared in cigarette ads. Children imitating adults was considered cute. By the 1950s, the backlash began. North Dakota banned them in 1953. The 1964 Surgeon General's report called them out directly for luring youngsters into the smoking habit. Congress tried to ban them nationally in 1970, and again in 1991. Both attempts failed. The lobbies were too powerful. The research was damning, though. A 1990 study found sixth graders who ate candy cigarettes were twice as likely to smoke real ones. And tobacco companies weren't innocent bystanders. Some actively sent their own packaging labels to candy manufacturers so the fake versions could look as close to the real thing as possible. Finland, Norway, Ireland, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. In the U.S., they quietly renamed them candy sticks in the 1990s. Just in case nobody noticed, you wax bottles. What was that liquid? Every 90s kid asked the same question eventually. What was actually inside the wax bottle? The answer: colored sugar water. Cherry, orange, lemon, lime. You bit off the top, drank it in one sip, and then chewed the remaining wax, which tasted like nothing. Because it was wax, the entire payoff had lasted 3 seconds. And yet, wax bottles have been around since the 1850s, over 170 years of children biting the heads off tiny wax containers for 3 seconds of sugar water. Tootsie Roll Industries still makes them today. Changed almost nothing about them, and somehow people still buy them. That is an astonishing level of loyalty to a product that is mostly just wax. Squeeze ooze tubes, edible slime, barely. Squeeze ooze was exactly what the name suggested. A plastic tube of neon-colored edible slime you squeezed directly into your mouth. The texture was somewhere between gel and paste. The color was aggressive. The flavor was loosely fruit-adjacent. Teachers hated it. The tubes made noise when squeezed, and the ooze stained everything it touched. Upholstery, carpets, school uniforms. Kids loved it for exactly those reasons. It looked like it shouldn't be food. It felt slightly wrong to eat. And making adults grimace was, at age 9, basically the whole point. Circus peanuts, the candy that accidentally invented Lucky Charms. Circus peanuts are foam-textured, and they taste like banana. Not orange, not peanut, banana. A flavor that has nothing to do with their color, shape, or name. They've been dividing Americans since the 1800s. People who love them are fiercely loyal. People who hate them find the texture genuinely offensive, that specific airy squeak when you bite in. But here's the fact that changes everything. Circus peanuts invented Lucky Charms. In the early 1960s, a General Mills developer named John Holohan took a bag of circus peanuts home, cut them into pieces, and mixed them with Cheerios. He liked it. His company turned the idea into a breakfast cereal. The marshmallow shapes in Lucky Charms, every moon, star, and clover, are descended from circus peanuts sliced up in a man's kitchen in 1963. The candy you thought was pointless gave the world one of the most beloved breakfast cereals in history, satellite wafers. The alien candy nobody can explain. Satellite wafers, also called flying saucers, were pastel-colored rice paper discs filled with fizzing candy powder. The outer shell dissolved on your tongue in a texture that was not quite food and not quite paper. Powder inside fizzed for approximately 4 seconds. They were invented in Belgium in the 1950s, made their way to America, and became a penny candy counter staple. Nobody who loved them could fully explain why. The flavor was nearly absent. The texture was unusual. The fizzing lasted seconds. And yet they're still sold in nostalgia candy shops today. Still capable of triggering an overwhelming rush of childhood memory in anyone over 35 the moment they put one in their mouth. That might be the most honest thing you can say about all of these candies, chiclets. 30 seconds of greatness, then. Nothing. Chiclets delivered one specific and universal experience. You put one in your mouth. The candy shell cracked perfectly. A burst of mint or fruit flavor hit instantly. For 20 to 30 seconds, it was the best gum in the world, then it was gone. Completely. You were chewing flavorless rubber with a faint memory of something that had once been good. This was not a flaw. This was apparently the design, unchanged since 1900. The shell was the product. The gum was just something to do with your mouth afterward. And yet chiclets became so universal that in many Latin American countries, the word chicle became the generic term for any chewing gum. The same way Americans say Kleenex or Band-Aid, 30 seconds of flavor, a permanent place in language across an entire continent. All of these candies existed inside a specific window when candy companies could put almost anything on a shelf and kids would buy it. Wax, slime, fake cigarettes, foam peanuts in impossible colors. That window is closing. Regulatory pressure on artificial colors and sugar content has tightened. The companies that made these candies have quietly disappeared. New England Confectionery, one of the oldest candy brands in America after 171 years. The penny candy counters and corner stores where you bought them are mostly gone too. What remains are the memories. The weight of a wax bottle, the neon color of squeeze ooze, the 30 perfect seconds of a chiclet, the feeling of holding a candy cigarette on the playground like you were getting away with something. The grossest, weirdest, most controversial candies of our childhood were not sophisticated, not nutritious, and in some cases actively investigated by Congress. We ate all of them anyway. And somewhere in the wax and the ooze and the banana-flavored foam peanuts was something that actually mattered. Not the candy, but the experience of being a kid with a few coins in your pocket, standing in front of something slightly ridiculous and completely wonderful. Smash that like button and tell us in the comments which one of those your parents absolutely refused to buy, and whether you found a way to get it anyway. Drop it below. Next time, we're going inside the toy that got banned in every school in America, Pogs, and why it vanished almost as fast as it arrived.